This is Kingwood. They call it the livable forest. 40,000 homes nestled in the trees. It's where Johnnie and Harvella Jones bought their retirement home. This should be a time when they're enjoying the holidays. Instead, they're getting ready to move because they're about to lose their home to foreclosure.
We're from Ohio. We knew nothing about assessment fees. We knew nothing about homeowners associations.
This is beyond the wildest dream. I've been in combat. This is wasting the field of battle. To think, only when you're going to field of battle, you know your life is at risk. But here, my house is going for $800. That is less than a monthly mortgage.
$800 in unpaid community assessments over 4 years and $10,000 in associated attorney's fees is going to take their house away. The Woodland Hills Community Association sued the Joneses because they didn't pay their annual assessment fee. That money goes to take care of common grounds like the trails in Kingwood and the community pool.
And even though it's your homestead, some associations do have the right to go ahead and foreclose on your property if you're delinquent in paying your association fees.
Kim Frumpkin is an expert in foreclosures. She says in 1987, the Texas Supreme Court put a big loophole in the Homestead exemption, the law that protects homeowners from creditors. The Inwood versus Harris decision allowed community associations to foreclose on delinquent assessments.
I had some financial problem and medical problem. I tried to meet with them and discuss it with them on a friendly basis. This could have been settled over 4 years ago. That's all I wanted to do. I've never said I didn't want to pay.
But they didn't pay the $842. So the community hired a lawyer to retrieve that money. He cost more than $10,000. And the Joneses are actually losing their house because of those attorney's fees.
The consumer needs to be educated and realize that your homestead is not always protected, that there are cases in which your homestead can be taken away from you. There are loopholes.
Last Thursday, the Joneses went to court in a last-ditch effort to save their home. They wanted a judge to give them more time, but they got no reprieve. The attorney for the Woodland Hills Community Association, whose hefty fees in essence claimed their house, didn't want to talk about the case.
We don't have any comment at this time. There's other litigation currently pending. You can probably get your answers from the Joneses.
We tried to pay it monthly, but we were denied. We were denied because no one paid monthly.
But the Joneses have documents which show other people did get the chance to pay in installments. They're suing over that. Meanwhile, their experience offers a lesson.
Watch your assessment fee, look at your contract, because it's real. You can lose your home.
We're going to go on with our life, and we're going to become crusaders to help other people, because I'm going to be sure that this doesn't happen to anybody else.
Reported in the office of the county clerk of Harris County, Texas.
37,000. I have a bid of 30. How much?
The first Tuesday of every month in Texas, foreclosed properties are auctioned off at the courthouse. And this morning at the Family Law Center, the pace was brisk.
I now open the property for bid.
Some were expensive,
Bid $1,741,000.
others modest, but none were more precious than the property owned by Johnnie and Harvella Jones.
Constable sale, under and by the virtue of...
The property being sold is their $75,000 home in Kingwood. The Joneses did not pay their community assessment fees for 4 years. The assessment fees go to pay for the upkeep of common grounds like the trails and the community swimming pool. The North Woodland Hills Community Association sued them because they owed $842 in back fees. To get the money, the association hired this attorney to foreclose on the Joneses' house.
There have been negotiations and they've broken down, but not on our part.
On the other side?
That's correct.
How do you feel about what's happening today?
My job.
Today, the association's president bought the house for a little more than $400. Why did you buy the house?
I don't have any comments, sir.
A far cry from what I expected when I came to Texas. I never thought such laws would allow this to happen to anyone.
The Joneses know they were in the wrong for not paying the fees, but they also claim they were not told about the fees when they bought their house, and they say that's not right. A state senator says it may be time to change the law to prevent this from happening to other homeowners.
Philosophically, I have a problem with foreclosure for a debt that the homeowner didn't voluntarily pledge their home as collateral for.
Senator Patterson says in the next legislature, he'll introduce a bill that will prevent this problem from occurring again.
The legislature would pass a law that says that at the time of closure for a homestead piece of property that the buyer must be informed of what circumstances could result in them losing their house.
Essentially, I feel destroyed. A great part of me went with that because that was my dream.
We're going to go look for another place to live and then just move forward from that point on.
The Joneses have 30 days to pack up, move out, and find a new home. Michael Barnes, 11 News. It's moving day for the Joneses. Their daughters are in hand to help them remove the last of their personal belongings. They're being evicted by their civic association.
I'm upset to have, to be losing our house and everything.
It was really, really hard for me. I mean, I was like crying.
End of a dream, end of a nightmare.
Constable sale, under and by the virtue of...
30 days ago, the Joneses' $75,000 retirement home was auctioned off at the courthouse. The family lost their dream house because they did not pay their community assessment fees. The fees provide for the upkeep of common grounds like the trails and community swimming pool. The North Woodland Hills Community Association sued the Joneses because they owed $842 in back fees. The Joneses wanted to pay back the fees in installments, but the Civic Association said no and used a 1987 Texas Supreme Court decision to take the Joneses home. State law allows community associations to foreclose on homeowners who don't pay civic fees.
I think it's okay to put a lien on property and when you sell the house to get the money, but not to foreclose. That's very cruel, and what it's doing now is created autocratic or very vicious types of associations that feel like there's nothing that they can't do.
But the Joneses have the support of people like Donna Slatton. She's helping the family move to an apartment in Houston, but more importantly, she's joined their effort to mobilize other Kingwood residents to get the law changed. Slatton also lives in Kingwood. Now a different civic association than the Joneses dealt with is trying to take away her home.
And you sit back and you go, there's no way that someone can come in and take my home over several $100s in association fees, and yes, they can and have. And when I saw this happen to the Joneses, it terrified me.
Over the next year, the Joneses hope to educate homeowners and get the law changed so that no one else's dream turns into a nightmare. Michael Barnes, 11 News.
Oh, I think so. I really do.